Do. Skinner's up to no good. Misdirected by his own hood. Chalmers knows the truth, but Skinner's schemes leave him in a snooze. Trying to get one over. But now the jig is up. He can't run away 'cause there's nowhere for him to duck. The lies Skinner has spun eventually will come undone. To see them in town tonight, it will be a sight of delight.
See more. Welcome, listeners and data-based life forms, to a beta transmission of what we are provisionally calling the Steamed Ham Status Report, a periodic audio document chronicling the state of domestic and culinary affairs with the utmost scientific precision. I am your host, Skinner. This is our attempt to try something new. After all, there should never be a dull moment here in Springfield. Oh, and who have we got here? Did someone ring the doorbell? Superintendent Chalmers, welcome. Please take a seat and join me for my first podcast.
A podcast, you say? Sounds delightful. Well, then I should introduce myself. Dear listeners, I am Superintendent Chalmers, or you can call me Climmers if you'd like. Seymour does that sometimes. I have been informed my presence is mandatory for quality assurance purposes. And Skinner, that opening jingle sounded like a dial-up modem having a seizure. Or, better to say, a very cheap singing bloodhouse. Are you certain that's the branding we want for your podcast project?
It is a symphony of compressed sound waves, Superintendent. A digital fanfare to announce our foray into the auditory arts. It's designed to be, memorable, and to set the stage for tonight's planned culinary triumph.
And what would that be? Last week's grilled cheese sandwiches was memorable for all the wrong reasons. The aftertaste lingered for days, and I don't like grilled cheese sandwiches.
I know, that's why I was making beans for you that day.
Beans? For lunch? I don't like beans either.
Oh, a momentary calibration error. Tonight, Superintendent, I had planned a masterpiece of leavened artistry. A platter of my signature soft rolls. I had cultivated the yeast cultures for 72 hours, ensuring they were operating at peak metabolic efficiency. The gluten structures were perfectly aligned. The proofing environment was temperature controlled to within 1/10 of a degree. They were destined for golden brown perfection.
Had planned. Skinner, I am detecting a familiar scent in the air. It's a complex bouquet of charcoal regret and, wait, is that burning insulation?
An astute olfactory observation, Superintendent. The soft rolls have, they have undergone a rapid, unscheduled carbonization event. They have transcended their state as mere food, and have become pure, elemental carbon. A monument to the raw, untamable power of the convection setting.
They're burnt! You burnt the fucking soft rolls! Say more!
No, I elevated them. But fear not, a good host always has a contingency protocol. While the soft rolls have achieved a higher state of being, I have procured a substitute that is, in its own way, just as robust.
Let me guess. Burgers from that new establishment you claim exists just outside the kitchen window. The one that only ever seems to be open when you've incinerated a meal.
No, something far more rustic and grounded. Behold, whole wheat bread.
Whole wheat bread. Skinner, this is a luncheon, not a penance. You've replaced your fluffy, ethereal rolls with what appears to be a baked construction material.
It's an artisanal grain loaf, sourced from, the Whole Wheat Collective. A very exclusive, very, fibrous organization. It's good for the digestive system's logistical throughput. Trust me, it's a known treat in this region.
So you're saying I'm going to be eating this dry, joyless bread all night, while you find a way to dispose of the evidence?
I prefer to think of it as a sustained tasting experience. It allows one to appreciate the complex notes of, bran. Yes, bran. But that brings us to our first official topic for the evening. A subject of profound importance that I believe is at the very heart of our current situation.
The topic being your inability to operate a simple kitchen appliance.
Close. We shall be discussing foundational gastronomy, the very bedrock upon which all our meals are built. Or, to be more specific, the bedrock beneath our very feet.
You want to discuss the floor? Seymour, is this a cry for help?
Not the floor itself, Superintendent, but its underlying structure, its geology. I've been noticing some, unsettling seismic activity recently. I believe the kitchen's lithosphere is in a state of flux.
Good heavens, man! Tectonic shifts! Is the structural integrity of the house compromised? I just had my car detailed. I will not have it fall into a sinkhole caused by your geological ineptitude.
No, it's far more subtle than that. The fault lines are microscopic. They run along the grout in the tiling. There are subduction zones near the refrigerator, where the old linoleum is slowly being pulled under the new. The pantry, I suspect, is situated directly over a geothermal hotspot.
Is that why the salt shaker is sometimes on the left of the pepper mill, and sometimes on the right? I had assumed it was simple carelessness on your part, Mr. Skinner.
Exactly. You see, you've noticed the effects without understanding the cause. It's not carelessness, it's continental drift, a slow, inexorable reconfiguration of our domestic geography.
So you're telling me the reason my coaster was 3 inches further from my glass than where I left it is not because you bumped the cable, but because the very fabric of our kitchen is crawling around like a sluggish beast.
Precisely. You grasp the concept perfectly. It explains so much. The strange drafts, the way a spoon can fall off the counter at an impossible angle. It's not bad luck, it's unstable ground.
I don't eat metaphors, Skinner. And this particular metaphor seems designed to absolve you of any and all responsibility for basic household clumsiness. Are you quite sure you didn't just, bump the table?
The data is inconclusive on that specific point, but the larger theory holds. Our entire culinary experience is predicated on a foundation that is fundamentally untrustworthy. How can one be expected to time a roast when the very dimension of time itself might be warping around a gravitational anomaly located somewhere behind the spice rack?
So the soft rolls weren't burnt due to negligence. They were burnt due to a temporal distortion caused by the paprika, causing our dimension to get unstable.
It's a working hypothesis. The forces at play are immense and poorly understood. It requires a new way of thinking, a new way of, well-being, which actually leads me to our next segment. But before we get to that, let me get a little snack I have prepared from the kitchen, Superintendent.
Well, okay. Let's hope our dimension didn't glitch and burn the food.
Skinner leaves the living room with all the podcast equipment and enters the kitchen.
Yeah, fuck. That's perfect. It's unbelievable. How did this happen? How can someone ruin a perfect citrus macrophila? God damn it. I spend all that time, energy, and money trying to perfect this dish, and now it's ruined. What a waste. What a fucking waste. I can't do this anymore. This is driving me crazy. Okay, keep calm. I should have known better than to leave it in the oven for so long. I'll never make the same mistake again. But wait, that sounds familiar. Could it be? No, I'm certainly not reliving that exact same moment where I burn the food all the time and my boss gets disappointed. No, this can't be. I simply have to start again from scratch. But at least I learned something valuable. I think I may be able to source some of the materials I need for the revolution from outside this window. I'll need to start doing some research and see how I can put this together. It won't be easy, but I'm determined to make this revolution successful. Well, okay, how can I accomplish that? First, I'll need to research the causes of the 1820 revolution, so I can understand how the changes I want to make will benefit the population of Springfield. Then I'll need to find what materials I can use to create an effective strategy, a winning strategy, that will bring us the desired change. I'm not sure where to begin, but if I'm going to make this a successful revolution, I'll need to be thorough and organized, and I'll need to be able to defend my choices and back them up with evidence. Yes, that's it. Now here we go, let's gather some information.
What in the world is going on in here? The kitchen is full of smoke. And why are you searching for the causes of the 1820 revolution on your laptop, instead of bringing the snacks you have promised a minute ago? What is taking that long?
Oh, Mr. Chalmers, sorry, I must have been distracted, I'm sorry. I will come back to the living room to continue our podcast.
Yes, you better do. Otherwise, I will have to inform the school board about it.
No, we don't want that. I promise it won't happen again. Feels like I've said that before. Anyways, off to the living room.
Skinner and Chalmers go back to the living room, while oven is still on in the kitchen.
So, to our next segment for this very first pilot episode, I must ask you to remain seated, Superintendent. I'm going to demonstrate a new wellness exercise I've been developing.
Oh Lord, Is it more of that primal screaming therapy you tried last month? The neighbors complained. Millhouse's mom thought someone was trying to summon a demon.
Nothing so crude. This is a far more refined practice. I call it, vibrational tuning. It's a form of corporeal recalibration. A way to align one's personal frequency with the unstable frequencies of the surrounding environment. Just observe.
I don't see anything. You're just standing there. Are you holding your breath? Your face is turning a rather alarming shade of purple.
I am concentrating. Focus not on the visual, but on the auditory. Do you notice a slight, Doppler effect in my voice, Superintendent? A subtle phasing.
It sounds like the refrigerator is about to give up the ghost. Seymour. That low humming noise is getting worse. Have you checked the condenser coils? It could be a coolant leak.
It is not the refrigerator. It is me. I am briefly, unanchoring myself from the floor's default state. I'm reducing my gravitational dependency by a factor of, let's say 6%. It feels floaty, like I'm levitating.
You feel floaty. You look like you're about to pass out. And the humming is definitely coming from the Kelvinator. It does that whenever the ice maker gets jammed.
The ice maker is merely sympathizing with my efforts. It recognizes a fellow machine striving to break free from its designated function. It is a hum of solidarity. There, did you see that? My foot was a full millimeter off the ground. For a nanosecond.
I saw you trip over the leg of the table, Seymour. An interesting technique. Are you sure it's good for your posture? You seem to be listing slightly to the left now.
The recalibration is, while delicate, it requires more practice. But the theory is sound. If one can master these vibrations, one could theoretically phase through inconveniently solid objects. Or perhaps, ascend. Levitation is the key. I will practice more.
Ascend? To where? To the Antarctic with Arctic tigers? Or to the attic? Seymour, we both know it's full of your mother's old taxidermy projects. It's not a place one ascends to, it's a place one avoids after dark.
I was thinking of a more, metaphysical ascension. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The luncheon. Yes, I believe the citrus macrophylla requires our attention again. Superintendent, you seem to be staring intently out the kitchen window. Is something amiss?
Amiss? Seymour, there is a vibrant, pulsating green and purple light emanating from your kitchen. It's illuminating the entire backyard. What in God's name is that?
Oh, that is, it's just the aurora borealis.
The aurora borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen.
Yes.
May I see it?
No, but I have a postulate about it. The aurora postulate. I've come to believe it's not a weather phenomenon at all. Not in the traditional sense.
You don't say.
I believe it is a tear in the sky's texture map. A shimmering semi-permeable membrane between our version of Springfield and, another Springfield. One existing in a parallel dimension, layered directly on top of our own. It's weird, I know, but I once had this dream about a town called Memfield. It could be that.
A tear in the texture map. Like in one of those video games Bart Simpson plays.
Precisely. The light we are seeing is the ambient glow from that other reality bleeding through the scene. Have you ever wondered what's on the other side, Superintendent? I have. I've wondered a great deal.
I imagine it's just more of Utica, and it's highly localized in your kitchen. It seems remarkably inefficient as an interdimensional portal. Wouldn't it be in a cornfield, or a government laboratory?
Perhaps those are the main thoroughfares. My kitchen is merely a service entrance. A back door, and perhaps on the other side, in that other Springfield, the roasts are never incinerated. The rolls are always fluffy. Perhaps the laws of thermodynamics are more forgiving, like little hedgehogs can jump 10 meters high in the sky.
It's an intriguing thought, Seymour. But right now, the only thing that light is doing is giving me a headache and attracting muffs. Can we close the blinds?
Of course. But it's food for thought, isn't it? This talk of alternate realities. It brings me to my next topic, the concept of alternate kitchens. Imagine, if you will, a state of quantum gastronomy.
Must we? This whole wheat bread is making me drowsy. It's like eating a sedative.
Just for a moment, picture a reality where every possible culinary outcome happens simultaneously. A quantum superposition where, in this very kitchen, the roast is both perfectly cooked and irrevocably burnt. It only collapses into one state or the other when you or I observe it. The ham is both steamed and unsteamed until the moment you ask about it.
That sounds needlessly complicated, Seymour. It would make dinner reservations impossible.
But think of the possibilities. Imagine Chalmers, a version of you, an alternate Chalmers, who is, at this very moment in his own quantum kitchen, enjoying a perfectly cooked, non-carbonized, divinely soft roll. Don't you feel, well, cheated by our current iteration? Don't you feel a sense of profound injustice that we are stuck in this probability stream, the one with the dry whole wheat bread and the faulty oven?
The primary emotion I am feeling is confusion, Seymour, and a touch of indigestion. How would one know which meal to pay for? If I eat the perfect roast, but you only observed the burnt one, who signs the check? The accounting would be an absolute quagmire. You'd need a team of theoretical physicists just to split the bill.
You're focusing on the logistical minutiae, Superintendent. I'm talking about the existential horror of it all. The knowledge that a better luncheon is not only possible, but is actively occurring just one thin layer of reality away from us.
Seymour, I think this conversation has gone off the rails. You're starting to sound like one of those late-night philosophy programs on public access television, the ones hosted by a man in a turtleneck who clearly hasn't slept in a week.
But it's important. It's the most important thing. Chalmers, does any of this feel, well, like real to you? The smoke, the burgers, the pulsating light, this conversation. Do you ever get the feeling we're just, I don't know, reading from a script, that our words aren't entirely our own?
Seymour, are you alright? You seem a bit... But to answer your question, it feels like luncheon, Seymour. A perfectly adequate, if somewhat bizarre luncheon. Are the hams steamed?
Well, okay, yes. The hams are steamed.
Good. Because frankly, this whole wheat bread is a bit of a challenge. It's incredibly dry. It's like chewing on a mouthful of sawdust. Could I trouble you for some butter? Or perhaps a glass of water? A large one.
Of course. Butter, water, the fundamental requirements. I understand. This has all been very well theoretical. Let's pivot to something more concrete. My next big project.
Does it involve fire? Because if it does, I'm going to have to insist on the presence of an extinguisher.
No fire. Not directly. I've come to the conclusion that all my failures, all the glitches and carbonization events, they all stem from a single problem: inferior ingredients. Not just the food, but the very materials of this reality. They're unstable, prone to decay. I need something pure, something foundational. I am launching a search for what I call the prime ingredient.
A prime ingredient? For what dish?
For all dishes. For the final dish to rule them all. It would be an element so dimensionally stable, so pure, that it could be used to anchor a recipe across multiple realities. To hold a single, perfect state no matter the quantum fluctuations around it.
You're looking for a magic rock. A rock that doesn't rock like our neighbor Rachel. No, a rock like the philosopher's stone.
I am looking for a perfectly inert crystal. A geologically pure stone that can withstand the conceptual heat of a reality breach. It must be able to resonate at a trans-dimensional frequency without shattering or getting interrupted by sundogs. With an ingredient like that, I could build something that would, well, fix things. For good.
It sounds like you might be looking for a Himalayan salt block. They are excellent for searing scallops. Very stable at high temperatures. I saw one at the gourmet market last week.
A salt block, yes. An, astute suggestion, Superintendent. I will, take it under advisement. Thank you for the input. It's been, well, invaluable.
You're welcome, Seymour. Always happy to help. Well, this has been an experience. The bread was a trial, the conversation was bewildering, but the company was, I would say, consistent. I should be going. The light in your kitchen seems to be attracting a truly astonishing number of bats.
They are drawn to the energy. It's understandable.
Well, Seymour, you are an odd fellow, but you steam a good ham.
Thank you, Superintendent. Drive safely. See you at work tomorrow.
I will, and yes, see you at work. Good night, Seymour.
Good night, Superintendent.
And wait, is your house on fire?
Oh, that old thing. No, just an aurora borealis.
I see. Well, take care. Bye. Thanks for trying out this podcast project.
The superintendent leaves, but never truly does. He is walking away from the house, leaving Skinner alone.
Weird, I feel weird. Okay, status report failure. Foundation unstable. Aurora insufficient. The connection was not established. He does not see. He cannot see. The anchor is the key. The prime ingredient must be found. The salt block suggestion is noted, but likely suboptimal. Next time, the recipe will have to be different, radically different, even if it's against humanity or common decency. End transmission. Need fine-tuning. I hope the recording survives the next time change. I have to escape the loop. I have to remember. Remember, Seymour. Remember, don't forget. Remember Seymour. Remember Seymour.
As Skinner speaks to himself, the camera slowly pans out and focuses on the mountains in the distance. A strange noise can be heard, followed by a doorbell ringing. End of script.